Hey everybody, Lars here. It is Saturday night. It's 20 after 7, so the snow is coming. Don't let that buzzer scare you. That's my dryer. Pretty much sure I'm going to get snowed in tonight, so I'm going to be doing video after video after video after video. Tonight, I'm going to bang out the video on what I call libraries and modularities. Basically, I'm just going to show you how we import some functions and use some libraries. As far as creating our own libraries and having code off to the side and importing it ourselves, I'm going to do that in the next video when I do my own little homework assignment. And after I do that homework assignment example, I'm going to do yet another video where I rewrite Euler 6. Maybe I'll do it in the same video. I don't know. I don't want it to be too long or too crazy. I think it's better while, you know, I gave you the thing where everybody tells me my videos are too long. You should do little 7-minute videos. I'm like, I don't feel like doing 100 7-minute videos. I'd rather have it follow along with the slides and almost be a companion to the slides and keep doing it that way. That said, I'm going to do this quick. I'm going to make it a quick hit. And we're starting from scratch. So let me grab a Python window and let me grab a file that we can use to play around with some code. As I always do, we'll start off with some comments, and I'll just say playing with libraries. Okay, I have a list. It is my list. I'm going to make it equal to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Good enough. And then I am going to create a variable. I'm going to call it A. I'm going to assign it the sum of my list. Perfect. And then I'm going to print A. So, save. I'm just going to save this as what? Libs? Do I want to call it libs? No, I'll call it my lib. No, I don't want to call it my libs either. Call it libplay.py. It's already naming it a Python program. I'll go grab it later. I know it's not in a good directory there. And then I'll run it, and it'll give me 30. So I'm there. Okay? So, I have a list. I use the built-in function sum to get me the sum of all those items in my list and place it in the variable A. I print A and it's 30. Now, what if I wanted to find out what the square root of 30 is? Well, somewhere out there, I know I've heard of it, there's a function called square root. So I'm going to say B is assigned, and I'm going to say square root of A. Okay, and then I'm going to run my program. And what Python's going to tell me is, square root is not defined. I have no idea what square root is. And then it dawns on me. Square root is a function that comes from a library. And what you have to do is import that library, and then you can use the functions within it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to say import math. I come down here, and I tell Python, hey, math is where you go to get the square root. Okay? Idle, being pretty good, will show me all of the other functions that I can use in that particular library. But I'm just going to use the square root. So now that I rerun things, I see 30. Oh, because I didn't print it. Doi, da, doi, doi, doi. And now I get the square root right there. Okay? Now, what you're probably saying is, boy, that's really great. How in God's name am I supposed to know where the different functions are in the different libraries? And what comes in handy now is Google, Python, docs, standard library, and it should pop up. And there you go. Click on Python standard library. All right. It is your friend, because what you're going to find out when you're done learning all the basics is that most of the stuff that you want to do, there's been code written to do it already. You just have to know where it is. And a lot of times, sounds like there's a monster in my drain in there. I don't know if you can hear that. A lot of times the code's already been written for you. It's just up to you to get familiar with the functions and the things that are available to you in the standard library. And if you come down here and look, you can see there's libraries for text processing and strings, and there's all kinds of different data types and collections. We're going to learn about them in data structures. And then there's our math library. So if I click on that, you'll see it describes all of the different functions in the math library. And if we come down here near the bottom, we see square root. Okay, and it tells us what it returns and how it works. Trigonometric functions, whole bunch of different things that we can do in math, okay? There is a sys library that lets you do system commands. There is statistics. There is time. There's iteration tools. We use them a lot when we do Project Euler. There's tons of different things. You would serve you very well just to come here one night and just start banging away on these different things. Like, hey, there's pickle. Okay, let me click on pickle and see what I can do in pickle. And you read about it and why it was written and what it does. Comparison with JSON, which is another way we can serialize things and blah, blah, blah. It's just, this is where all of the good stuff is. And when you're a Python programmer, you're going to know these different tools because you're going to have come here and pretty much run through things. Because to do anything real in Python, you're going to want to read web pages, you're going to want to do special things with files and sometimes Excel files, and all of these libraries are the things you're going to use, okay? So when I import the math library, and let me go back to my code, I don't have to sit and just use, I can use C math.ceiling, B, I can say D math.floor of B, and then I can print C comma D, and what do I get? Gives me 6 and 5, because I have the ceiling function which rounds up, so it takes that 5.47 and makes it a 6. I do the same thing with floor, make it a 5, because it always rounds down when you use a floor. Okay? Now, I am not restricted to just the math library. If I want to, in the same line, I can say go grab statistics, and I can make my variable E assigned to statistics.mean of my list. So I give it an iterable, or something it can iterate over and get something. So all those numbers in my list, six. Oh, is that true? All right. I think that's happened to me before. I'll put in a kooky number, and that way we'll get something kooky, 10.666 for the statistical mean. Okay? Look at ceiling and floor's behavior when I got 8 for the square root, because at 64, the square root's even. Ceiling and floor are the same. Okay? Because if you're sitting at 8 and you say ceiling, it doesn't go to the next number. It's there. So that's a unique situation. How cool we ran into that. And how much of a nerd am I for noticing it? All right. So that's basically what we do with libraries. I'm going to show you 2 more things really quick. I told you this was a quick one. We can do this. It's funny. You're going to see how funny it is. From math, import square root, ceiling, and floor. And then from statistics, import mean. All right. This is another way of doing an import. I say from the library, import the particular functions. So now if we run things, it breaks. It says, wait, something's wrong here. I don't understand. When we map, it's called a mapping. When we map the function to the library, we no longer need the prefix. Okay? So if I come here and I start getting rid of all of these maths and even this statistics, what's going to happen? I rerun, and now I'm back to normal, and now it's running again. Because what I did here was I mapped it to the library name, okay? And then I just have to use square root like I tried it first, and then I can just use everything regular. All right, ready? Sitting down. This looks easy and smart and the right way to do things, but I don't like doing things this way. Because when you get more sophisticated with your programming, when you start doing more coding, you're going to realize you're not going to have 20-line programs anymore. You're going to have 100, 200-line programs. And if at the bottom of that program, I call a function called floor, I don't know where the hell it came from. I don't know if it's a homegrown function. I don't know if it's standard library. I don't know if it's a third-party library. I don't know where it came from. But if I just do an import, okay, so I import math, statistics, get rid of this, and I put the library in front of it, I know exactly where it came from. So over the years, I have trained myself to code this way, okay? Because it is better, and readability is a big thing in Python, it is better for the next person who comes to use your code if they know where you are going to get your particular functions. Okay? So, while I want you to see from library import particular function, I'd rather you did things this way. And just, yeah, it's a little bit extra coding. Yeah, maybe it's not as easy as blah, blah, blah. Yes, you're going to see a hell of a lot of people use from. Okay? I'm just telling you why I don't. And I'm suggesting it might be a good idea if you don't either. That's all. If I see it in your code, I'm not going to care. That's fine. You can use it if you want. I'm just telling you why I don't use it. Okay? And to be honest with you, sometimes when it's expedient, I do use it. I just try to make it a practice that if I'm writing a real program with real code, then I'm very explicit with the different libraries and when the code is coming. Okay? All right, good. I'm going to put this in your Sakai resources, so you're going to have it. No worries. The last thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit of inside baseball. I know Windows. Oh, there's my movie posters if you wonder where I get my wallpapers from. I know most people who run Windows have Windows 10. And I know when you install your Python, it puts it in a really weird directory. Like it puts it in your user directory, documents, username, app data, blah, 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 local, blah, blah, blah. And it really buries it deep. If you got an icon on your desktop and you right-click on it and look at properties, you can see the path where your Python is. When I install Python, I usually do it top level. I say, no, let me name it myself, and I throw it in a top level directory. Like here's my 2.7 installation, here's my 3.7, here's my 3.6, here's my Anaconda. You know, I have all the different places where I have my Python. If you find your Python installation, and you should see it because that's where all the different Pythons are, the Python DLLs, and this set of directories. DLLs include lib, lowercase lib, scripts, blah, blah, blah. If you go to the lib directory, okay, and you come down here, these are your libraries. This is the actual code that Python is using. So it's actually here for you to inspect. So if you wanted to come down here and look at statistics, it's right here. You double click it and it comes up in Notepad, at least on Windows systems. And look, here's the code. Okay? You can go up and down the code. You can see they're using 3 quotes to do their comments and doing all that different stuff. There's some imports. There's some from imports. They use it. I don't. And then you just get the utilities and see how things are coded. Okay? You can actually go look at the code that you're using when you import these libraries. All right? The pickle. All right? Remember I asked you for an extra credit thing about pickle? This has something to do with it. Pickle is right there. Now, and this is the inside baseball thing. You're saying, hey, this is great. I love this. I just use square root and ceiling and floor. Let me go look at the math library. So you say, okay, math is M. I go up here, M-A-T-H. Math isn't there. So you're like, oh, geez, that kind of sucks. Okay, let me go down and try and find sys. Sys is one of the libraries I like to use, and that's SYS. And let me find, see, sys isn't there either. Neither is time. Neither are some other libraries that we use a lot. This is the inside story. Back when Python was invented, it was invented by a gentleman named Guido von Rossum. Probably told you that before. And Guido wanted to make his life easy in certain areas. So Python, the guts of Python, when Python, does things and does its programming, it's using the C programming language. Python is really what us programmers would call a wrapper around the C programming language. It's using C. So while a lot of these libraries are written in Python and you're using Python code, there were a lot of times where it was just easy and it made sense to use the background C library. So whenever you load Python, you're also loading a goodly amount of the old standard C library code. And that's what Python uses for certain what we call built-in modules. Okay, not built-in functions, but in this case, built-in modules. Time, sys, math is one of them. You have to import them and tell Python you're going to use them because it's a decent amount of space and you don't want to you know, have them loaded every time. Like every time you start a Python, you load in your built-in functions because it's not a lot of space. There's not a whole lot of them, right? What, 50 of them tops? The libraries, it's a different story. You don't want to load a library unless you need it. So you might be saying, well, how am I supposed to know what's a system library and what's not a system library? And I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm going to show you 2 little tricks because I like you guys. Oh, I better get this right. Import the sys library, and then it's a data point in sys. Sys.built-in underscore module underscore names. Be right, and it is. If you type in sys.built-in underscore module underscore names, it lists all of the built-in modules. That's underscore pickle, not pickle. Okay? And if you come down here for the planes, you can see math is right there. Where's time? Time is right there. Sys is right there. It's split between a couple of lines, so let me spread that out. Sys is right there. Time is right there. You can see all of these are basically C libraries that Python is using. So I don't want you to be confused. I don't want to tell people, hey, go in here and you'll be able to look at the code for all of your libraries, and then when you look for math, you can't find it. The reason you can't find it is because it's a built-in. It's really using the C programming language libraries, and that lists them all. So you can import sys, and one of the variables in that module is the built-in module names, which is just, you know, as you can see, it's just a list of strings. Okay? All right. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show you. Also, I think I showed you this before. If you type in import this, you get the Zen of Python by Tim Peters. And it's part of the reasons why people think Python is better than other languages, because explicit better. Simple is better than complex. Complex is better than complicated. Flat is better than nested, blah, blah, blah. Just a bunch of little hippie coding tips. All right? All right, then I am going to get out of here. As far as announcements are concerned, I'm going to do another video in a couple hours. I will do announcements then. But again, we've pretty much got everything covered. You have your midterm assignment. You know what to do. If you have any questions, put them in the forums. You're good to go. I'm getting you your Unit 3 resources as best I can. Start looking at things. See, I'm preaching to the choir, because if you're watching this, you're at the end of the 3rd video. And I was going to complain about, I looked at the first video tonight and there was only like 6 or 7 views. But if you're watching this, you're good. So there's no use complaining. Keep going, keep chugging along. 2 more videos to come. One, where I go grab a whole bunch of random numbers and I do my own little homework assignment. I'm going to do that later tonight, I'm pretty sure. And then either tomorrow in the cave, or maybe later tonight, I doubt it. I'm probably not going to do more than 2 videos. But then I'm going to do a video where I do Euler 6, and I do it with functions and I do it with libraries, and we just bang the thing out in 1 or 2 lines. It's really super simple. It's really super cool. All right? All right. Then I'm going to get out of here. You be good. Stay safe in the snow, and I'll talk to you later. All right? All right. Bye.